All right, guys, episode 17 of Dynasty Trades in 5. I'm Clay.
I'm Shane, and if you look into my eyes, you can see the football game. You're up,
I'm
Scott.
Scott, and I'm not watching the game in Shane's glasses, but it's tempting.
All right, so guys, we're doing Patrick Mahomes tonight. So there's been a couple of players we've talked about recently, like AJ Brown and some other name that's escaping me, who's now attainable, right? So let me start that over. All right, so tonight we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. We did a show with AJ Brown the other day, and we were saying at least now he's attainable. So, Mahomes can be too. But we're going to start off the show by kind of framing up how far down we'd tier from Mahomes. To even have a conversation, it's going to have to be top QB, for example. So Wilson, Joe Burrow, wherever you have Trevor Lawrence. Will you go down that far?
I think that's probably the cutoff point. Wilson, Lawrence, Burrow.
Oh, so you
I
do
think that's
Wilson,
probably
huh?
like
Wilson.
has. I mean, obviously he's hurt, but what's that? 2 more weeks, most likely. I mean, it's a little riskier, no doubt. I mean, Wilson's fallen since his injury. I think definitely you'd prefer Burrow and Lawrence way over him at this point because neither of those guys are busts, and you're gaining an extra 10 years, probably a little higher upside at this point with their offenses. But I think that's probably the cutoff line. If you want to eliminate Wilson from there, that's fine. I think if you went down to Burrow and Lawrence, Prescott, Herbert, Allen, Jackson, Kyler Murray, I mean, that's probably the list of guys you would want to pivot from. Josh Allen as well. I mean, that's it. Like, that's the group. Anybody else? I mean, it'd take a mega deal. I know Shane and I have talked about this in the past. Like, what is Mahomes worth in picks? It's probably at least 4 firsts or more. Yep. So I'd much rather do it in a deal where I'm pivoting off of a quarterback. Very few teams can offer you 4, 5, 6 first rounders.
Yeah, this one guy in my league, he was, wanting to move from Mahomes or to Mahomes from Baker or Fields or what have you, and he's trying to hold on to his starters that he loves. And I was like, dude, if I'm giving you Mahomes, I'm gonna pick and choose what players on your team I want. I'm gonna make it hurt. If I'm giving you Mahomes, I'm getting something I want. So, Shane, what are your thoughts? Agree with the tier down? That's as far as you'd go?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I was saying, Russell Wilson's just too far for me. That's a hard no, unless the return happens to be like DK Metcalf and Jamar Chase. Then, all right, you can have Mahomes, but you would literally need to give me like both those guys. Because I'm lower on Russell Wilson, I think, than consensus, but he's just, I've trashed him before. I don't want to trash him now, but it's not because he's injured. It's just because he's so erratic, and his scoring is so erratic. Even though Mahomes' scoring is terrible this year, right? He's the QB3 in points per game. Yeah. So we've talked about it before, right? He's attainable. This is the moment that if you were ever going to trade for Mahomes, you have to do it now because you might not ever get this opportunity again.
So let's see if we're close here. So what about a trade if it were Burrow, Deontay, a 22 first and a 23 first for Mahomes? Burrow, Deontay, and 2 firsts.
He's gone.
Maybe Burrow's close. I don't think Burrow's a blue chip asset. I think he's more of like a top 2 round, maybe top round and a half startup pick, just depending on how much higher you value the quarterbacks. But I think that's an interesting offer. I think it just depends. I mean, I assume this is a start 10, right, Clay?
Yep.
I mean, start 10. I mean, Deontay Johnson, I hate to say it, but he's one of those guys we're wrong on. But at the same time, he's basically just a receiver that's going to be very situational and target dependent. Mm-hmm. If his targets ever got cut, like, he's not going to really be any sort of addition to your win rate on your roster. So then it just comes down to where those picks are. So I think that's the kind of deal I'd be looking to ship off to get Mahomes. I'd rather do it somewhere else. I'd rather pair Burrow with Mahomes. You know what I mean? That's the dream team, like, quarterback pair. If you have Burrow as your QB2, you're going, man, any given week this guy could be in the top 5. But I think that's
not your choice here.
He's got a floor.
It's not your choice, Scott. Make a choice.
That's what I'm working through. My point is, I'd rather give up a lesser quarterback asset and more on the other end, like you said. I'd rather give up a higher end running back, draft pick, or wide receiver to get there versus just pivoting from Burrow to Mahomes, is my point. Shane.
Clay, I'm slamming that accept button. And Burrow is probably like right at the end of that second or third tier for me. I have like 3 tiers of top 8 quarterbacks, whatever. It's too many tiers, but I have as many as I want. But I think he's the line of demarcation. You know what I mean? If you give me Burrow and Jamar Chase, you give me Burrow and some high-end assets, you can have Mahomes.
So what if it were one side is Dak and CD, and the other side is Mahomes and Deontay?
No. Damn. No.
Really? So you turn that down, Shane?
I don't know. CD's like